I'm gonna put AI to the test to see if it can design a better building than I could in college. I hope it's not that easy. First, I'll feed the same design prompt and program that I had on a college project to ChatGPT and ask it for a design concept. Then I'll plug that narrative into another image generating AI and ask it to produce some renderings, and I'll compare those to what I did in college. I'll also try feeding some keyword descriptions that match the buildings that I designed to Midjourney, another text to image generator, to see how its interpretation differs from my final product. Comment below now to let me know who you think is going to do better. I hope it's me. Really hope it's me. Okay, so we'll start off with a project from my second year. The project was a spa for the NYU staff on Washington Square Park in New York City. We had to include a traditional tepidarium, frigidarium, and caldarium. So my big concept was to anchor the building with these two big water towers that were made out of concrete. And they would dump water back into the rooftop pool that would be like continuously flowing. And then that water from the pool would flow down as like a 5-story waterfall onto a pool at ground level. The whole idea was to rejuvenate. So you have all these pools and they have, great views of the park and it's very clean. Okay, so now I'm gonna move over to ChatGPT, which you probably know, you've probably heard of it, is this crazy AI that you can ask to do anything. Like I said, I'm gonna feed ChatGPT a program and a design prompt from this project that I had when I was in school. I'll ask it to give me a design concept, and then whatever it spits out, I'll just feed that into the text to image generator and we'll get some renderings. And then we'll see how it looks. Okay, so I'm just gonna paste this design concept, where it should be, how big it should be, what the site is, what the program should be, and I'll ask for a design concept. So it even gives the project a name. So it's saying the Serenity Spa at NYU. Some of it spits out the same information. So it's telling me it's on the northeast side of Washington Square Park. It tells me how big the site is. That's all information that I told it. This is quite a long design concept. The rooftop pool and the sun deck provide a serene space. Going back to the Serenity Spa name. Okay, let's see what it says about the interior. Space is filled with natural light, earthy tones, and natural materials, wood and stone. Does it say anything about the exterior design of this building? Use of natural materials and warm colors? It doesn't actually say what the building should look like. So I'm very curious to see what this image generator is gonna do with this. So I will go over to Craiyon and I'll start off asking it to produce architectural renderings of this building, and then I will copy and paste in ChatGPT's concept, and then I'll ask it to draw. It usually takes about a minute or so. Interesting. Okay, let's go through these. This isn't a building. This is a plaza? This doesn't make any sense. This is just a reflective box, literally a box. I don't see a swimming pool. That's like the one thing that ChatGPT mentioned like 4 times. Maybe it blends so seamlessly that you can't see it. This one's terrible. There's like, wait. What is this? It's like a creepy nun. What is that? It's like a very creepy version of the Grim Reaper. And it looks like she's holding like a sword. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. This one sucks. Sorry. This one's interesting. This one is actually a rooftop pool that's got some kind of screen around it. And it looks like the vantage point we're getting is from the rooftop. And it's got tanning beds on the rooftop? Is that what that is? Why get a tan from the sun when you can just get artificial UV rays? Rendering could be interesting, but it doesn't tell me anything about the building outside of the pool. Okay, so this is like the first true building we've got here. So you've got some kind of scale at the bottom with a datum line that's closer to the ground, so it's a little bit more at human scale. You've got 2 different planes on the facade here, probably some kind of either metal panel or glass, a roof that extends over, so it's actually got the form of a building. Maybe that's the pool that we're seeing at the top. Maybe. The plazas are all massive for some reason. Like, we're not anywhere near a road. There's no cars anywhere. This one just sucks. There's no pool. None of these have pools. This one's even worse. The whole plaza is the pool. You don't have to come in the building. Just jump in the pool outside. It's free. It's a public pool. That will be fine, I'm sure. This one looks like just a terrible office building. You look at this and think, there's probably some awful WeWork inside. Also, the people were just kind of freaky. No, this building's a no. This one is, well, yeah, they do at least show, or at least try to show, the arch in Washington Square Park. But otherwise, this is just like, they didn't even try. Okay, I'm gonna go over to Midjourney, which is another text to image generator, but this one is apparently more geared toward architecture, or it can at least produce better architectural renderings. It's kind of in a beta, and the way it works is that you put in the prompt through Discord, and there are newcomer rooms where everyone can put in their prompt, except you see what everyone else is putting in and you see their results at the same time. So as I'm going through this, you'll see just a bunch of random stuff that people are asking for. You know, that's not mine. Just ignore it. I'm going to put in our prompt. I'm going to paste in here all the keywords that match the design of my spa that I did in my second year. What is it going to interpret that as? And now we wait. Much better than the first AI, just off the bat. We've got like very fantasy, glowy kind of images. The first one is some kind of open facade with giant columns and a glass open staircase with a green wall and this kind of cascading pool. The second one, oh, that's really cool. You've got this kind of setback design like you would see in New York with these big buildings at the top, and the pool cascades down over the front, over the setbacks, dies down somewhere below. Now this bottom left one, it's almost like you just flooded an entire apartment. You've got this pool with a giant window out to what looks like maybe a green roof, and then this last one you've got some vegetation growing over, and it looks a little more elegant maybe than these two on the left that are a little more industrial. So what I can do with Midjourney is I can request it to completely redo the 4 images, or I can request for an upscale, so more detail of any of the 4, or more variations on one of the 4. So if I wanted variations on the first one, it'll give me 4 new variations that are similar in that style. Now I really like the top right one. I'm gonna ask it to do 4 variations of that one. So we've got 4 variations here. Top left has got some arches. The pool's a little boring now though. The one to the right, the pool is much more interesting in this one. The bottom left has a second pool up on the top, and then the bottom right has kind of this weird glass area. I'm gonna pick the top right. We'll do an upscale, get some more detail, and then we'll run with that one. A lot of waiting with Midjourney. Kind of boring to just sit here. I mean, I'll edit it out for you, but it's taking a long time. And we're done. More detail on the windows, more detail on the reflection. You can see some wood on the sun deck here. I don't know where these stairs go. They just kind of go on forever. This is really cool. Okay, so let's move on to my second project. The next one is going to be a library that I did the second semester of my third year. So this is a full year after the spa, a full year better designer, I guess. Okay, so this was the design concept diagram. I basically took the library, divided it into a static and an active half with circulation going up through the middle that was open, and then 3 transects that were on different levels that just cut across both of those halves and the circulation. And you can see on the right side, they push out past the active side. So in the building, they're actually pushing out through the facade, kind of reaching out to the neighborhood. So it was a pretty standard library program. It had reading rooms, preschool rooms, library stacks. Here you can see these transects that I was talking about. There's one on each level. They come all the way through the facade. Those are areas where there's some reading nooks set up at the end, so you can go there, hang out, have this really nice view, this kind of framed opening. And then along the front, it not only comes out through the side, but it pops out through the front facade as well. Here you can just see on the left, that's the static side. So that's where basically all of the stacks are gonna be. In the middle is the circulation. And then on the right side is the active space. So that's where you're gonna get your reading rooms, preschool rooms, teen rooms, and then the transects come along and just cut through all that. And at the end, you get these nice little reading rooms with a really great frame view out to the neighborhood and some clear stories along the top to let some more light in. Okay, so back to ChatGPT. Let's give it a prompt for the library and see what kind of design concept it comes up with this time. Okay, so it's going to be inspired by the city's industrial heritage. It is the Steel City. Using materials and forms to reference the city's steel and glass architecture. It's at least talking about exterior materials. Ooh, it's also going to have a rooftop garden and outdoor terrace. It wasn't in the program, it just decided to add that. Okay, so let's ask Craiyon to draw. Okay, immediately we have better buildings than we did on the spa. This one looks like a generic warehouse building. That one's kind of boring. This doesn't even look like Pittsburgh. And there's somebody in just this white robe hanging out front. I don't like this one. This one has a giant out front. This person is like 20 feet tall. This one's at least interesting. Some kind of step down terracing to like more of an underground area. Some pretty cool architectural details up top. This definitely feels a little bit more like Pittsburgh. This one's not bad. This one sucks. There's not even a front door. This is a shipping container. I think it just saw shipping container architecture and said, yeah, we'll just put windows on it. This one, they just made a warehouse and then also put like a glass hotel on top of it. No, there's no people in this one. It's deserted. This one's okay. It's all like foggy. It almost looks like they're doing construction on the building still. The people just, really creep me out, I think. The sites are just so bad. There's nothing anywhere in front of it. It's just concrete. I know I said these were better. They're still very bad overall. Let's take it back to Midjourney, see what it can come up with. Facade protrusions, an orange accent. That was like my color all through college. See what it does with that. It definitely took the orange and ran with it. I don't know, these are pretty cool. They're also massive inside. Wow. So this top left one is 5 stories and the 5th story is like triple height plus, and then there's more space downstairs. The structure's orange, the handrails maybe are orange, and then all the soffits are orange. I don't see a lot of books. Doesn't scream library, feels more like a really, really nice corporate building. This feels a lot more like a library. You can see the books in the back. You've got this orange wall as an accent with this really, really big open stair. So you're getting a lot of natural light in here. This is really nice. It's a little bit more to a human scale. Also, the people are so much more normal. This bottom left one looks like it's the only one that actually has facade protrusions. So you can see those here kind of like cutting through the glass, and all of those floors and kind of the walls of those floors are all orange. And that color even continues out to the outside, which is really cool. Even though there's this massive window, it's really dark inside. I'm not loving that. And then the last one has stairs that are so shallow that they're almost flat. Very vibrant orange structure. It's a little bit brighter. I do want to see more variations of the top two. Okay, so variations on the first one. This bottom left one is pretty cool. It's got stairs that are connecting back to the floor that we're standing on. We'll get an upscale of that one. And variations on the other one. And this bottom right one is intriguing because it's got stacks that are down lower. I'm interested in that one. This one though has a pretty cool skylight with the concrete columns going up through it. And I like the stair going down to see the stacks below, so we'll keep that one. Okay, so this last one is a thesis project from my 5th year. It was a flexible theater on the Miami River in downtown Miami. So the project started out looking at rising sea levels, and it kind of morphed into this flexible theater, talking about like the contained and the container. Super conceptual. We spent a year on the project. So the first semester was research. The second semester was all design, and I'm not that conceptual of a designer typically, but the idea here was that a liquid medium will always take the shape of its container, no matter what that shape is. So in this theater, the liquid medium is the spectator and the container is the theater. So no matter what space the spectacle takes up within the theater, the spectator will always fill up the remaining space. And you can see here with this exploded diagram, it's all about the contained versus the container. This building was a big theater. It was like 7 or 8 stories. It was accessible by the Metro Mover, which is the free transportation system throughout Miami. It was right next to the line there. It utilized this giant truss system that went over the theater volume. The first level when you walked in was all pre-function space, and it had these giant panels that surrounded the theater. Each one could open independently. You could have a traditional play or a concert inside. You could have those panels open where the spectator and the spectacle intermingle throughout the lobby and the performance hall, so it kind of blurs the line of what the performance is and where it is. And you can see that too when you look at the plan. I made a bunch of these different plans with all these little dots indicating people. In this instance, you might have street performers where you've got a couple here, a couple there, and you've got crowds gathering around them, and then you've got people milling about trying to figure out which one they want to look at. All right, last time in ChatGPT, let's feed it this program. Oh, it's going to be an architectural masterpiece. That's bold, ChatGPT. It's going to be contemporary, clean lines, and elegant facade. It's going to be flexible, where it can accommodate stuff like rock concerts to plays, musicals. Kind of blown away that it's going to be an architectural masterpiece. All right, let's see what we get from Craiyon this time. I hope it's better. These suck. These really suck. We're gonna look at them, talk some shit, and then we're moving on to Midjourney because that's where the good stuff is. Okay, this is something. This is another level. I'm probably gonna get into these and tell you that they suck again, but just from these little thumbnails, I don't know. There's some cool looking buildings here. This is crazy. First of all, I love the pink at the bottom. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but it just reminds me of Miami. The building is like something out of Dubai. It's got these like flower petals and these curved white clean lines. This is cool. I can't even lie. Okay, yeah, no, this one does suck. I don't even know what I'm looking at. This looks more like the Everglades than it does downtown Miami. This one looks more like an aquarium, right? Kids see this and they're like, I want to go in there. Mommy, please, let's go see the fish. This is really weird. So it's like curved and then just a piece sticks out the front of it. I don't see a river either, so that's kind of like the whole selling point. This kind of looks like a Forever 21. They went too hard with designing a shop and then there's like a quilt on top. This one has a gold spaceship in it, so points for that. I am kind of digging the big vertical elements. It just doesn't look like a theater. This one's interesting, although it kind of looks more like an airport, like coming up the arrival terminal. Like imagine if these are seats looking down at the stage. I'll give this one some props. Each one of these sets of buildings has gotten better. They definitely are nailing like the Miami vibe though. It's all very white and glassy. That was a lot different than Pittsburgh, where it was kind of darker and industrial. It's got the idea is there, but it needs some work. Last time in Midjourney, I'm super excited to see what this one's gonna give me. Send it. You know, I'm a little let down. I know I said trust, but there's like a lot of boxes. They all look more like a maintenance building than a theater. We'll take out the word trust, we'll rerun it, see where it gets us. Okay, these are more interesting. Definitely very boxy, I did not expect that. But they're definitely going vertical with these things. They're all kind of the same. The first one doesn't have like any windows. The second one's pretty interesting. I could see, I guess that's like maybe the balcony up there, and it's got this whole riverfront. The third one, again, this looks more like a maintenance building. And same thing with the fourth one, they kind of look the same. I think I'm gonna go with some variations on that top right one. First thing I see is the fourth one has stairs that lead directly from the water up to a blank wall. And there seems to be like boat parking, but you have to drive out of the water to get to it. I think I like the top left one a little better. This entry area looks a little more engaging. As for more detail, I think they made it worse. We'll run with that one. I don't think that one's gonna be mine, but. Okay, it's time for the side-by-sides. First one is the spa. Mine's on the left, Midjourney's on the right. Again, I'm like 19 when I designed this, so just take it easy. The stairs on Midjourney's are still a little weird to me. The sun deck is so small. I just realized there's no way to get out to the pool from the inside. But again, mine, concrete towers, that's not gonna support itself. The waterfall coming down, what, 4 or 5 stories onto the ground, that could kill somebody with the amount of pressure that's gonna have on the ground. And in terms of actual image quality, Midjourney's got me beat. Okay, moving on to the library. I really like the feeling of the library that Midjourney has. The experience of walking down the stairs to get to the stacks, it feels kind of like cozy because it's still got this big volume, so it doesn't feel like you're underground. You're still getting light. It just doesn't feel as exposed. It feels a little more cozy and comfy down there. They use the orange color in a really great way, which I love. And the outside, you can see there's like sidewalks and grass and a street, where mine just kind of had the asphalt. It's not looking good. Okay, and the last one, my baby, my thesis project, my whole last year of college, the theater. This one I think I might have a leg up. I've got some pretty clear access to boat parking. I'm next to the metro like I wanted to be. I've got this northern exposure facade looking out onto the river. There's, I don't know, the balconies just don't seem like they make a lot of sense. And there's 6 separate balconies. I feel like I'd want 1 or 2. And again, the entry feels a lot like a parking garage. Surprisingly, I think the quality of rendering on the water for both of ours are maybe about the same. Not too shabby. Okay, you've seen it all. It's all up to you now. Time for the verdict. Let me know in the comments, is AI a better designer than a college student? Please say no.